episode of Keeping It Real with Kelly. And I thought that this time I would talk about my health journey a little bit because this is sort of what started sharing the whole um, healing journey in the last year was actually admitting how much physical pain that I had been in for a long time, how much I was ignoring it, and that it was finally time for me to do something about it because I couldn't ignore it anymore. It was getting bad. So an update finally for those that have been following the journey is that I did see a specialist finally, and has referred me to another specialist because what she was focusing on is not what my problem is, so it's good. We're eliminating the problems that I don't have and finding out the ones that I do, so that's good. I also met with a surgeon, and the interesting thing about that is while I was talking to her, because I've just encountered so many people in the last few years that just keep telling me it's nothing, it was really interesting to have somebody listen to me who wanted to know all my symptoms, all the problems that I was having, but also that offered a solution. And at one point, my ego kind of tried to take over and said, was like, oh, well, I don't know if you want to go this route because, it started going off with all these little stories in my head, stories that I've heard for a long time that, well, like you shouldn't need to have surgery or just that other women do it without surgery. Or are you sure, like you still have to see another specialist, so maybe you should wait. And when I started to hear all these stories going on, I thought, wait, why am I preventing myself from even just looking into the possibility that this procedure, because it's fairly non-invasive to fix what they want to fix, that and the recovery time's not that bad. And I thought, why am I not listening to this? Why am I coming up with all these reasons why I shouldn't listen or why I shouldn't do it? So I had to stop myself from doing that and ask some really good questions about the procedure itself and just other things. And it's sort of a process of elimination that if we can fix some of the issues that I'm having, then we can really get to the core issue and try to strengthen the area that's been bothering me for such a long time. And I am going for more specific physiotherapy, which is really interesting because it's really getting deep inside and inside the tissues and finding out where I'm having muscle spasms that I can't get to with regular massage or anything like that. So that's been really interesting. And it's also been interesting to discover what my core muscles actually are and how to engage them. And a discussion that I had with the therapist was how easy it can be when you're in pain for your body to gradually just stop working the way it needs to. This muscle is spasming, this muscle is in pain, it's going to stop working, and other muscles take over. And how easy that is, how easily your body does that. And then later you have problems because it's doing that. But it does it so easily over time without you even noticing. So, learning how to relax those muscles, because part of my problem is that a lot of those inner core muscles, the really deep ones, are very, very tight. So, it's not that they're necessarily strong, they're just way too tight. So, it's a combination, excuse me, of strengthening those muscles as well as relaxing them at the same time. So, it's very specific and it's actually difficult, and it's something that I have to be aware of, like in everyday life, and how to engage them properly. Because sometimes we engage too many muscles if we've been overcompensating in areas. And so it's learning what the subtleties feel like and how to apply them. So it's been very, very interesting because I've been in the sort of fitness profession for quite a number of years. For 30 plus years, I've been a gymnastics instructor. And so, how the human body moves, how it works. 7 years or so ago, I took up Qigong and Bagua, which are Chinese internal martial arts. Which really gets into side in the muscles, in the fascia. So having this type of therapy on top of all those things is really helpful as well. And I'm seeing some results, and learning a lot of things along the way. If you feel that something isn't quite right with your body, please keep asking doctors, specialists, because it's really important that you take care of your health and that you can advocate for yourself. And that's what I had to do, because for such a long time I just listened to the same rhetoric over and over. And actually, after seeing the surgeon, I did see another doctor who was surprised that they were going to fix the hernias. So even medical professionals can disagree on a plan of treatment, and it's okay to get a second opinion, a third opinion, and get an opinion that's going to fit for you, and not let your ego or your mind, whatever, talk you out of even exploring something that might be beneficial to you, even if you decide not to do it. But to explore the possibilities, because it's for good for your health. And I know a lot of times, like, some of my therapy is expensive. So coming up with a treatment plan with the therapist that works for me, and things I can do at home. Obviously, I have homework to do, which is really important. So it's really about advocating for yourself and finding out what would be the best thing for you, and what do you want to do about something, and making sure that you know what all of your options are, because a lot of times I think we may not know what our options are. We may not know, and if people don't give us those opportunities or we don't look into them, we just don't know. So again, I really feel it's important to advocate for yourself. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Thanks for checking in, and I'll keep you updated.